Hey, what's up everybody? Kris Krohn here, and I have been mentoring an amazing 15-year-old, Mr. Jack Doherty over here.
Hey.
Dude, and you wanna know what his middle name is? What's your middle name?
Cash.
So I like that. Anytime we're talking real estate, I think I'm gonna start calling him Cash, because I wanna get that imprinted into your mind here. As a little bit by way of review, in the last video, we started introducing the rules. And the rules of investing start with number one, you gotta be paying yourself. Rule number two, you got to invest in things that pay you back. Number three, your investment should grow. And number four, real estate is a great investment because it produces a monthly cash flow, it builds equity and growth over time, and it means that you get to pay less what?
Tax.
Less taxes. So what I want to do is now I want to go into the real meat and potatoes with that background, Jack, of like, all right, dude, how do we help you by 18, 2.5, 3 years from now, how do we help you be a multimillionaire? Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, dude, we're gonna do it.
Cause we're gonna be legends. What we're doing here ain't just scary. It's about to be legendary.
When you're brand new starting out in real estate, there are two types of real estate that I think everyone should know about. When you have a single family home, they abbreviate that SFH, you could buy a single family home, which means a primary residence, a single home for a single family, and you could either do a rental or you could do a lease option. And a lease option simply means a rental, but also letting them buy the home down the road. So it's a lease with an option to purchase, or sometimes people call it like a rent to own. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I could tell you how to do a lot of things, right? I could tell you how to do apartments. I could teach you how to flip properties. I could teach you a lot of stuff. What I'm giving you right here is a way to build a portfolio with time that produces, more importantly than the millions, a residual income that says, hey, if you don't want to have a job, you don't have to have one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So check it out here, the difference between rental and a lease option. Now, I want you to understand something. I really like both of these strategies. If you are doing real estate in your backyard where you live, I want you to do a lease option. And the reason why is because you're going to get a superior cash flow compared to renting. You're going to get a non-refundable down payment, on average about $5,000. And I can usually squeak out a solid 25 to 30% ROI. And an annual ROI of 25% would mean that I'm doubling my money every how many years?
Like 4 years.
Every 4 years. The kid's so smart. Every 4 years I'm doubling my money. I'm getting my money back, right? However, you don't happen to live in a normal market. You live on Long Island.
Yeah. Which
means Long Island real estate prices they're a little bit higher. Instead of like, single family, I like doing this for price ranges of $150,000 to $200,000. Once you start getting into homes that are $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, they're really expensive. Then I say, this is no longer the plan. This is backyard real estate, unless you're out of this price range, or you don't want to do the work. Because at some point, real estate is fun when you're making lots of money, but at some point you want to sub out the work. That's when you go into the rental strategy. But never do a rental in your backyard. Out of 324 markets that make up the United States, 3, 4, 5 of the markets are the best. So I go into what is called a high ROI cash flow market. I also go into high ROI growth markets. So in these markets, this is now saying, all right, I no longer want to do the work, or it doesn't work in my backyard, or I have some money. Maybe it was sitting in a 401k or an IRA, a stock market. I want to put it to work. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the rentals where I'm getting really high cash flow, because there's a few niches in the country where you can get in America some amazing cash flow. And you can also pick up tremendous growth. And all of that combined at the end of the day, I'm earning on average 25% a year on my money doing this strategy, but without the work. And again, how many years does it take to double my return if I'm making 25% a year?
4 years.
I'm going to double my money every 4 years. Now, by the way, that's something that 401ks, IRAs, typical market can't do. By the way, if you doubled your money in 4 years, how would you feel about that?
I would feel very happy.
Yeah, dude, who wouldn't feel really happy about it? It's about a strategy. What I want you to understand is that when you're brand new to the game of real estate, single family is like the easiest game to get into. There's others. I'll actually do some commercial or multifamily, but they often require more money. And when I'm helping someone brand new, I'm thinking, how do I help you take the smallest amount of money and have the most success? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so with all of this now in store, this is my game plan for Jack Doherty, and this might end up being a game plan for you. So check it out, listen up. Number one, we need to start by just buying one home. You can't worry about the 5th or the 10th. Right now it's just find me a home. And let's just say for a moment that this is a home that's valued at $140,000. It's very basic, it's very entry level, but this is a house that we can produce 25% returns which are juicy. It means I get cash flow, and it means I've got good growth, so I'm meeting all my investment rules. If this worked out and you were making awesome money on this, what do you think your next step would be?
To buy a second home.
Boom. You see how he gets it right there? And if you did it on a second home and it worked out, then what would you do?
Buy a third home.
And if it worked on a third?
Fourth home.
And on a fourth?
Fifth home.
Okay, I'm going to teach you a magic number. 5 is a very magic number in the game of real estate. My first goal is to get you 5 homes. Now, you can buy these 5 homes with money. I can also show you how to buy these homes without money.
Equity?
Yes, with some equity, but it's going to take some work if you want to do what I call creative real estate. Real estate where it's like, well, I don't have much money to put in. If you got some money, you can go faster in the beginning, less learning curve. However you do it, whether you got money or not money, that's besides the point. Once you become absolutely certain this is how I want to be financially free, the goal is to get you to 5 homes. Now, some people would say, yeah, Kris, that's great because then you'd have a cash flow of a couple grand a month. And I'm like, no, that's great, but that's not the real reason. Do you know what the real reason is to getting 5 homes?
To create a good
track
record.
Yes, dude, he's got it again. So he remembers all that from this morning. Right now, track record is worth way more than any of the money you will make on 5 successful deals. And here's why. A track record is a greater asset than the 5 homes themselves. If in 5 years you can take these 5 homes and turn them into 10 homes, would you consider yourself pretty successful?
Yeah.
I would. I'd consider you really successful. And you know, if we said, well, Kris, what if I waited 5 more years and I took 10 homes and I turned them into 20 homes? Would you feel pretty successful?
Yeah.
So the cool thing is, in 10 years, if you had a 6-figure residual income, you could say to yourself, hey, I don't have to have a job anymore. Mm-hmm. But you're 15. So in 10 years, you're going to be 25. Yeah. College will probably be done if you end up going to college. And technically, you should be getting a job. Or maybe you're just still making money doing YouTube. The question is, how do you actually retire sooner than that? Does that interest you?
Yeah, of course.
I did it in 4.5 years. And I want to share with you that if I could go back in time and time machine myself to the beginning, like I'm trying to do with you now, I could probably do it in even half that time. And here's how. This track record is something that you can share with other individuals. Let me ask you this question. If you had done 5 super successful deals and you were making good money, and it wasn't just your first, which could have been luck, or your second that was a fluke, maybe your third where you were just starting to figure it out, or your fourth where you started getting a solid pattern, or a fifth where it's like, obviously you know what you're doing, you've done it 5 times in a row. Do you think other people might be interested in investing in that track record and saying, hey, I think you figured something out. You're making more money than I am with my financial choices. How about we partner up? And that really is the secret, Jack. It's called partnering. And partnering is essentially where other people that have financial means can partner up with you and your track record. And this is one of those things in real estate where 1 + 1 = 11, which means way more. I'm buying a house right now just about every single day of the entire year. And that's because I have a track record on 4,000 homes. And in the next 7 years, it'll be over 80,000 homes based on my game plan and the direction that I'm going right now. And it's other people bringing their money to the table that says, let's do this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So with what I'm sharing with you, this game plan means that there's no limit to how much you can do. It also means that you don't have to get a job someday if you don't want to. It also means that you have the freedom to live life on your terms and be in charge of your financial destiny.
Okay.
Do you have any questions on any of this?
No, it seems pretty clear. Seems exciting too.
Yeah, so what do you think your first move is?
Buy my first home.
Buy my first home. If I were to ask you that question, if Jack and I were face to face, would you be given that response? I hope so, because that would be the right response. Because you know what? We never know how much life we're given. We don't know how much time we have. But I will tell you, I feel like there's a responsibility to make the most of what we've been given. It's so easy to be distracted in today's world. It's so easy to just waste time. And at the end of the day, you get to make your life what you want. But for me, for Jack, we're looking at this opportunity and saying, yes, we want to have fun. Yes, we want to, have an amazing life, a life that we can love. And if you're making this extra money, it opens doors of opportunity. So whether you want to fill it with charitable giving, whether you want to fill it with building big empires, whether you want to fill it with more family time, that's up to you. You get to figure that out. Being a subscriber to this channel and mentoring with this 15-year-old, it's all about helping you get on your journey of financial independence. So, Jack, any final words of encouragement for our viewers out there?
If I could do it, you could do it.
If he can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. If a 15-year-old believes that you can do it, then maybe you just can. It's time to get believing, right?
We all could do it, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's all about. So thank you so much for watching today. If you're looking for help and you want to know, Kris, give me my exact custom game plan. I just wrote it up in a really tiny book. I printed a whole bunch of extra ones. You can have it for free. Just go ahead and put in your information on the link below and we'll get it shipped out to you. And then you can talk to a member of my team and we'll show you what your first steps look like so you can start winning in the game of real estate too. Take care, my friends. Thank you so much. Jack, thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
See ya.